Uh, can I start now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Dr. Antoine Mansour and I'm professor of surgery at UCLA, Los Angeles, California. I've been known the Soufanieh from almost the beginning, and almost every time, which is Easter time, I'm here with my wife. This time I attended the ecstasy, was the last one, which is the day after the first one. And I had the opportunity to examine Myrna while she was in ecstasy.
For those who don't know, what is an ecstasy?
Ecstasy means when it's an extraordinary phenomena that most likely your body and soul will be separated. You go into being unconscious, you meet your God, and you come back to earth. Scientifically and medically, when I examine Myrna goes to a stage what we call rigor mortis, which is the body will be dead, will be very stiff, and this is the last stage when the people die. They go into the first stage, which their body will be soft, and then the second one will be somewhat hard, and then the last one will be completely hard. And I tried to touch her, and she was on that stage. After this, I examined the pulse, which I did at certain occasions before. It was the same situation. The pulse was rapid, and she was in a state, what we call a state of shock, because the blood pressure was somewhat low. There was another physician just to confirm what I found, and he approved it. Then she had to rub her eyes, irritation, and as she told us before, when she sees Jesus, her eyes has to be anointed, has to be pure to see her God. So oil will exude from her eyes. She's very irritable, very burning. If you put anything in the eye, is irritable. Even water, you try to pour water, and it will be very irritable. And that's what happened to her. Then I know at that time that she was out, and I felt the same like every other ecstasies, that there is some view and some conversation and probably a message that she's going to receive, and exactly that what happened. Then she wakened up, and she spelled the message, and the priest nearby her, Father Bullock's father, he started to, she dictated the message, and he tried to write it and gave the message to us as, who knows, probably it seems like from the translation that this is the last message. And it was a big fear to the Middle East. That's what I can say.
There were other doctors in the room with you, right?
Yeah, there was other doctors from Lebanon with various specialty. One of them was a neurologist. The other one was neurosurgeon. The third one was ophthalmologist. And I think another neurologist. And as usual, Dr. Laurent, who is a neurologist from France, was also, but he did not examine her this time. He probably did examine her several times before. But one of these doctors tried to feel the pulse, and he asked me if I found the same findings, and I said yes. That was my findings also on the previous ecstasies when I got the chance to examine them.
What were the figures?
What is it?
What were the figures?
The figures? Well, I would say the pulse was in about 120 to 130. The blood pressure is in 70, 80 systolic. So that's mean rapid pulse, low blood pressure. It's one of the types of shock.
And then it drops down to normal after a few minutes.
Yes, after she recovered, everything went back to normal. And, no more stiffness of her body, no more rapid pulse. And at previous examination, I examined the eyes, but at this time, when I examined her, was too late because I came a little bit late, not from the beginning, and I wish. As a matter of fact, this time I was just few minutes with her, and I was gonna tell her a story. In addition to what she mentioned to the doctors, she said, "Okay, just give me 1 second to accompany these doctors to the outside. They're leaving to Lebanon, and I will be back to you." And I stayed upstairs. On her way down on the stairs, she started to feel the ache and the pain as usual before the ecstasies. Like she feel the muscle aches, and then she feel weak, and then she collapse, and then she go into.
Who took her to the room? I know I was
The
walking
doctors, the doctors that were with her to accompany her, one of them carried her, and they took her to her room, put her in bed, and then I saw the people. There is something extraordinary. I came down, and I know that the condition stopped.
So all of you were upstairs. She left.
She left with the doctors, and I stayed upstairs, and with the idea she's coming back immediately, that she's gonna accompany them, which is the tradition. When you have a guest, you have to go to the door, not just to leave him go on his own. And she said, "I'll be back to you in a minute." After just I accompanied them, and I waited and I waited. She didn't come back. I felt she might be busy with something, but I saw the people running from outside, and especially her son and other people, and I know that something happened. So I went down immediately, and I found that she was in ecstasy.
This oil in the face, that's pretty unusual, isn't it?
Yes, the oil has no explanation except that something extraordinary again, because the whole phenomena is extraordinary phenomena. We don't have any disease in medicine that anybody can exude oil. You may have sometimes a little acne in the face, or people have a little bit oily face, and that's all. But you don't see oil coming from hands, in the eyes, foreheads, and in certain condition when you go into ecstasy. So it's not like if you have a disease, it will continue. It will come back in a different certain condition, circumstances. But in her case, she comes on when she was in ecstasy, or before she's in ecstasy, and then during.
Let's take it.
Just tell me when.
What about the oil that exudes on Myrna's face and hands?
Okay, again, we don't have any disease that exude oil. So it has to be something extraordinary from what we know. It's not the ordinary way, it's not a disease. Maybe I would say the people that have acne in their face, or people may have a little oily face sometimes, so that's a disease. But what happened to Myrna is just every time that she's in ecstasy, that oils come aboard. So it goes with her phenomena as an extraordinary manner. It's not an ordinary manner. It's not that Myrna, she has a disease. First of all, there is no disease exists with the oil that exudes from her hands, exudes from her forehead, from her face, and the eyes, especially the eyes. Anything goes to the eyes irritates, so we know that the oil exudes in her eyes, and has been examined and has been tested that it is an 100% olive oil pure. The olive oil that we eat from the market, it's not pure 100%, but this oil is 100% pure.
You've also had the chance to attend the Stigmata on Holy Thursday. Tell us a bit more about that.
This time was a little bit unusual from the previous times. We were accustomed all the time that Myrna had stigmatas, that comes the 5 wounds of Jesus Christ, 1 in the forehead, 2 on the hands, 2 on the feet, and 1 at the side. the left side. This time came only on the side, and it was even smaller than the previous one. The previous one measured about 12 to 12 and a half centimeter. This time was 4.2 centimeter. So scientifically, I don't have an explanation, but spiritually, people would say, well, maybe the Roman soldier slashed the side, so it became like 12 centimeter and a half. This time, probably the Roman soldier did not slash it, but wants to puncture the heart to make sure that the heart, he got the heart to make sure that Jesus is dead. And if you see the size of the sphere, the head could be the Roman ones maybe would be about 4 centimeters. So no scientific explanation.
Did it come about the same way as the previous years, or?
Came at the same way, but not in the same place. Like usually it comes in the same place. We've seen a line below what happened this time. So why this? So something could be new. Myrna said that and the message goes along with what happened with the stigmata, that it just became in the heart. The pain was in the heart. The stigmata was in the heart area, as the message came talking about the heart.
So Jesus spoke on Thursday, and on Saturday his mother spoke.
You mean the bleeding?
Yeah.
No, the bleeding usually stops immediately after less than a few minutes even. And I had the opportunity to examine her the following day, which was a normal wound we see in the after 24 hours. But the beauty about these wounds that they close sometimes less than the normal way that we've seen them. As a surgeon, when I do the cuts, I do the wounds, they take longer than what we see here. So the wounds here will close sooner than the regular one.
You've seen him today?
No, I did not, but I've seen him 24 hours later.
Okay. And they were already on their way out, is that it?
Hopefully I did not get the chance yet, but in general from the previous one, yes.
Based on previous experience. Do you want to comment anything on the messages? Since we had two of them, one on Saturday and one on Thursday.
Unfortunately, I don't have it with me now, but my understanding is all related to the heart, and that the one that comes outside of the heart, like in the hands, that's why he came on the side, on the heart. That is different from the other one. The other one, he said, it came because of a crime that I did not commit. The second message, which is today, it's very frightening in relation to the Orient, to the Middle East. And he said, keep the Middle East in your heart. Now that everybody should go home, and the people goes back where the earthly body, where the cheating and everything is bad they're gonna meet, and but the people that attended this session and received the message, you will be the rays that goes with you to the world, so they can repent, they can come back to God. But again, keep the Orient in your heart. I would say in your prayer. What does that mean? That means the Orient will be in trouble. That could be. So it's the will of God. But again, with prayer and fasting and asking God, God may change His way, because we are begging and we are praying as it happened before.
It sounds familiar to the message you had in 1990 in Belgium, I think, in an ecstasy. It said, pray for peace, especially in the Orient, and then
Yes.
the Iraq war started.
Yes, that's an answer to the previous message that came in Belgium. But again, this message, he said, that will be the last one, and I'm going to give it to you. And it was very strong to the people in Soufanieh. But again, he said, from here the light will shine and start from the beginning. So we can, the light doesn't need to have any more messages, but we have the light, and the light will shine, and the work of God will be done.
Doctor, thank you very much.
You're welcome.